We drove across the bay where Alexander coasted that summer. All this plain was sea then, but it's silted now, leaving the islands high and dry.
Of the wall, so you see the dimension.
Yeah.
Dimension. Maybe you want to see the position of this tower.
Yeah.
Alexander's admiral Nearchus says he built fortifications at a place he called Alexander's Harbour.
Tower where the soldiers.
They were here on this
spot.
spot?
Yes, that is clearly written in the ancient text. And they survive eating oysters.
Arian mentions this.
Yes, so oysters and mussels and of a very big size.
Yeah. So it is possible then that these are left by the Greek soldiers during their stay here?
I let you tell it, but I believe.
The oysters couldn't be from Islamic times because eating shellfish is against the Muslim religion. Most likely, it was Alexander's Greeks who left these shells.
And they were very happy after, from so long time, they have left their country to have oysters, seafood.
Alexander's last act in India was to build altars, just as he'd done in Central Asia and the Punjab. He put them on a tiny island in the sea. It's never been found, but in the middle of the Delta Plain is another long-forgotten island, the last before the open sea. This was perhaps Alexander's last landfall in India. Perhaps he stood on this spot, staring out to sea, as his fleet set sail for the Gulf, following the line of the setting sun. Alexander planned his return from India as a combined operation by land and sea. And with the help of the Pakistan Navy, we tried to trace his fleet's progress along the bleak coast of the Makran. The logbook of Alexander's Admiral Nearchus survives, an eyewitness we could still follow after 2,000 years.
Now, the Greek logbook of the expedition, he actually mentions a number of places. For instance, they went round a great promontory or a cape which stuck far out into the sea and was very high and precipitous.
This is Ras Urmara. It's a big mountain here. It's about 1,400 feet high.
Wow.
It's 1,400 feet high. It's a big mountain and it's sticking out in sea.
There's one other kind of little story that he tells in this, which is particularly interesting. He says that about 10 miles off the shore, maybe roughly, there was an island, and it was uninhabited. They said no human being ever went there. In fact, it was something of a kind of ill-omened place.
This is right in front of you. Is Astola Island.
Yeah.
You know, on a bigger chart you can see.
Yeah.
This Astola Island is uninhabited, and it's a good landmark.
See the distance. Yes, my divider is open 10 miles. So and if you see from Astola, the land is about 12 miles today.
It's roughly right.
So water must have receded 2 miles.
He says the Greeks were frightened of the stories about this island, that you shouldn't step on it, and in fact they sailed around the island shouting to check that there weren't kind of spirits before they stepped on it.
In my 20 years naval career, we have never been there. So we can't.
In October, Alexander began his return journey with the land army, 100,000 strong now, with tens of thousands of camp followers. And we followed into the dreaded Makran Desert. This part of the Makran is known for great flash floods in the autumn, the time Alexander came through. The local Baluchis told us whole villages can be swept away. And this is what happened to Alexander. One night the army camped in a stream bed and a flash flood killed many people. Worse was to follow. Alexander's route led him to Turbat, an ancient fortress on the road to Iran. He must have stayed here.
Is all the Islamic cities?
Yes, all this part.
Yeah.
It's a rich and fertile oasis.
Wow, what a view.
Yes, you can see the Zikri wall there.
From Turbat, the main route to Iran goes straight as a die westwards up the Ketch Valley. But Alexander didn't take it. He now turned off the main route and headed south for the sea. It's only 100 miles, but it goes through the harshest terrain. The Greeks found impoverished settlements of Aboriginal people they called the fish eaters, too poor to give them supplies.
Oh God! We've been on this road now for 10 hours. We've had half a litre of water and 2 oranges each. I don't think we took the preparations for this leg of the trip as seriously as we should have done. But then I don't think Alexander the Great did either. In fact, coming this way makes me think it was a crazy notion to bring an army through here. The last big spring is 50 kilometers back. The Greeks, you can be sure, were in trouble before they even hit the sea.
At the sea, there was no sign of the fleet, only the boats of the fish eaters. Alexander should have gone back now the way he'd come. But that wasn't his way. He decided to push on, sticking to the coast. Perhaps he was hoping to establish ports to link his empire. Perhaps he still hoped to meet the fleet. We don't know.